thanks a lot for coming for this event, and you just spend a lot of time here. We're going to have a lot of fun with the kids, and we're going to run the. It's not coming again. Hello? Malaya. 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 Okay, sorry for that. Thanks for coming to this event, and you spend a lot of time with the kids. They will have a lot of fun with the robots. And this is a NATS organization. NATS is a North American Telugu Society. It's formed in Florida, but it's expanded to almost 20 cities in the US. We have thousands of members, families, and we conduct a lot of events like this, and we conduct a lot of charity works. And this is the organization have the first in whole US has a helpline in nation. If you guys have any issue related to domestic violence or immigration issues or health second opinions, or if you have any other problems like you need to deal with the local government, you have to deal with local police if you have any something is there. And this is the organization always help the Telugu people, okay? And we have 20 chapters across the US, and we started our chapter in Florida this year, but organization started here. That's almost like a 15 years now, but we don't have a chapter. We started the chapter last year, and this year we started a lot of active stuff. We already done with the Living Will and Trust seminar and Coffee with Cops. We done these 2 events, and we went last month Humanity for Habitat. We all our NATS coordinators went, NAT members and families went, and we worked the whole day. And now we are going to do the robotic workshop with incredible Manoj and Sai has helped us to coordinate this. And I will hand over to my event coordinator, Sandra. Sandra is going to introduce our chief guest, and then we're going to continue the workshop after that. Thank you.
Yeah, our today's chief guest is Dr. Harvey Haiba. Please come. I'll tell briefly about him. Dr. Harvey is presently a professor at large at several research-based institutions, and is author of 3 textbooks and 2 patents. So he's an expert in cloud technology. So cloud Mr. Sridhar. Listen carefully. He may ask you, he may bug you a lot.
That's true.
Yeah? Okay. His areas of interest are cloud computing for IT infrastructure, software delivery, DevOps, IoT, data analytics, and data visualization. His most recent work has been the Cloud Computing Working Group and Advanced Technology Academic Research Center, a DC-based think tank. His focus for the past 2 years has been IT infrastructure for organizations in the 500 million to 1 billion range. He's a consultant for that. Okay? Like Moffitt Cancer Center, Library of Congress, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporations are among the companies where he worked and consulted. Okay, let's have a big hand to Harvey.
Oh, thanks. How nice. Thank you very much.
Please take a seat, please. We'll call you back. Thank you. Okay, now comes to IncrediBotz. You're all waiting. So, our big man, Tampa's best coach, not one coach, 2 coaches, Manoj Patla and Sai Bhavani. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay, we also wanted to invite the kids. please close the door. My voice is late.
That's fine, nobody's there.
Okay.
You're good.
Trisha Sagamure. Samar Kasi Patla. Sim Sagamure. Nitya Panjal. Nitya Panjal. Anish Nelluri. And finally, Sat Sagamure. These guys are awesome guys. They won a lot of achievements in tournaments, lot of it. Let me read some of those things, what they did. 2018 Florida State Champion, first place held in Jacksonville among 48 top teams out of 758 teams in entire Florida. That's a big hand to these guys. And then 2018 Razorback International Championship, third place. Project Presentation Award held in Arkansas with 72 teams from 30 states and 15 countries participated. They got the third place. Lot of achievements, we got so many things, but let's start with the workshop with our coach Manoj. He's going to take up from now. Manoj.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. Who's excited about robots here? All right, so we'll get started. So the way we do this is we'll have the kids present for most part of it, and I'll pitch in wherever there's need, and we'll have a Q&A in the end, and also we'll have a hands-on workshop that we divide kids into groups. I think each of you got a chip with a group member. Once we are ready for that, each of you will go to your respective table. You will build a robot, and you will also program the robot to have it do some tasks. Okay? So we'll get started with that.
Just warm it up.
So quick agenda of what we're doing today. So we have introduction, we're going to talk about what FIRST is, what FIRST Lego League is, and what core values, integral part of what they do. And there's a project component, we're going to talk about that. And the actual robot design and how the game works, how they have to pull the robot together to solve some issues. And then we'll have a hands-on workshop. And for every event, they also have a teamwork exercise. They want to see how kids can work in a team, and be nice to each other, share what they have and things like that. And then there is the sumo part. Apart from the actual FIRST Lego League, the robots can do a lot more. I mean, they are literally, the brains are computers that can do a lot more. And so they're going to show something that they have done during summer called sumo bar, where two robots compete against each other to push away from that circle. And then we have conclusion for 8 minutes, and then we do a Q&A. Right? With that, I'd like Trisha talk about first.
Thank you, Coach, and thank you everyone for being here, so welcome. FIRST is an amazing program that was founded by Dean Kamen and Woody Flowers, and FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology, and it does exactly this. FIRST has not only impacted our team, but all around the world, kids are inspired to get more and more involved in FIRST and STEM-based activities with engineering and STEM. As you can see here, there are 4 categories in 4 levels in FIRST. So there's FLL Junior, FLL, FTC, and FRC. The age range for these categories is kindergarten to 12th grade, so anyone is welcome to join and the age range is welcomes it. The specific category that we have been focusing on for the past 2 years is FLL. FLL stands for First Lego League, and there are 3 categories in FLL. There's robot design, project, and core values. Robot design and project are what a team does, and core values is how the team does it. In robot design, a team learns how to design, build, and program a robot using EV3 and LEGO Mindstorm software. In project, a team is challenged to identify a problem and come up with a solution to the problem based on the theme that was given. FLL is not all about robots, so any skills are welcome, technical or non-technical, and they're all vital to a team's progress. An FLL team is made under the guidance of 2 adult coach mentors, and the students' age range is from 4th to 8th grade. We now have a video about FLL for you guys.
Exciting, mentor-based, experiential STEM program for kids ages 9 to 16. It's an alliance between FIRST, an international organization to inspire young people founded by Dean Kingdom, and the LEGO Group. It's one in a progression of 4 FIRST programs.
To foster 21st century life skills and smart kids' interest in science, technology, engineering, and math, so they become innovative problem solvers able to tackle the world's biggest challenges. Each year, First LEGO League teams are presented with a real-world theme, like transportation or waste management. Over a minimum 8-week season, they select and research a problem based on the topic, then devise innovative ways to help solve that problem. Teams also build and program a LEGO Mindstorm's robot to solve a series of robot game missions, all while practicing the signature core values, which emphasize good sportsmanship and having fun. If you'd like to get involved with First LEGO League in your area, visit us online.
Now that you have
That's fine.
Now that you have a basic understanding on FIRST and FLL, we're going to go more in depth on the 3 categories of robot design, project, and core values, starting with core values with Seth.
So core value is one of the concepts of FLL. So core value is basically about team building and how well you guys work together as a team. But it's not only in your team, but also as other teams as well, because you need to show good sportsmanship and you need to encourage them as well. And as it shows on one of the boxes on the picture, since we apply what we learn to improve our world. So core values, we not only use it in FLL, but we use it outside of FLL, because FLL is not the only time that you work together as a team and have to do things with other people. And that's what core values is. And project is what they do.
So another area of FLL is project. And so every year there's a different theme. And so last year's theme was animal allies, this year's theme was hydrodynamics, and next year's theme is going to be into orbit. So the video that we're going to play now will explain what project is and a basic overview of it.
So what is the project? For the project, as a team, you explore a theme. Identify a real-world problem related to the theme. Define the problem. And find out what's already being done about it. Then, develop your own unique solution. Put together a presentation. Then share your idea either with your community or with someone who is impacted by the problem. Each year's challenge has a different theme. Themes have ranged from transportation to food safety to energy. The scope of each theme is generally very broad, allowing teens to pursue topics that interest them. First, we released the teaser several months in advance for the next upcoming challenge. However, complete information is not available until the challenge is released in late August. Once the challenge is released, details on the project theme can be found in the challenge documents. Project documentation usually includes a suggested approach along with activities and other ideas for getting your team started. One aspect of research that First highly emphasizes is reaching out to experts. Whether you email, Skype, call, or take a field trip, teams are encouraged to go straight to the primary source for some of their information. Experts can be scientists, teachers, museum curators, technicians, or anyone who works in the field related to the theme. Get creative, then watch how empowering it is to your team. When it comes time to decide on your presentation, be creative and engaging. Skits, songs, and puppet shows can be fun for both the team and the audience, as long as all of the information is conveyed as well. Props, costumes, and characters are great too, as long as they enhance but do not take over. Presenting to community or school groups are good ways to share your team's problem and solution. You may even share with your experts. Sharing is meant to be an exchange, so just posting to the internet, unless you are accepting or responding to comments, isn't really sharing. Also, remember you need to share your project before you attend a qualified tournament. Having plans to present after your tournament will not satisfy the requirement. The project is meant to get teams engaged in solving real-world problems. While some solutions are more successful than others, every student will be empowered by the experience.
Okay, so now that you got a basic overview of what project was and how to find a problem and solution, I will now go into depth about what our project was about. Okay, so this is our problem, and our problem was that excess nitrates and phosphates were going into detention and retention ponds and then going into ground and surface water resources. And these nitrates and phosphates, they cause algae growth. And so this algae is causing fish to die, and it's hard for tourism, and it can also cause like environmental impacts. And we designed the solution called the Niphon bot, which is our prototype down there. And we actually made that prototype, and so it can detect and neutralize the nitrates and phosphates, and it can also collect data. So now Martha's going to talk about robot design.
You want to cover sharing your ideas?
Oh yeah. So we also need to share our idea. So as the video said, sharing our idea is another major part. So after we come up with a solution, we can talk to experts. And as you can see there, we talk to many experts such as water resource engineers, USF professors, and even our community CDDs. So these are all the experts that we reached out to. Now it's the one to talk about robots.
So the next component of FLL is robot game and design. So you first start with random brick and parts. So this is the brick, if anyone can see it. You'll see it around in the workshop or we'll get hands-on. So we first will read the challenge document.
Can you put the mic closer?
We'll first read a challenge document, choose missions to solve on the robot. We'll design the robot and program the missions. Then we will test the robot for navigation on the board. As you can see, there's a board right there in the back of this year's higher dynamic theme. And in the middle picture, you can see as our competition robot, which is also in the back. And that is the Mindstorms parts, as you can see. And we will go more hands-on on the Mindstorms parts in the workshop.
Right. So this is a brief introduction. I mean, we are literally taking and packing everything in 1 hour. It's really tough. We're trying to do that. So if you guys have any questions, you guys definitely can reach out to NATS, to us, and we can clarify that. But we want to move on to the actual hands-on workshop, which will get kids excited more than a presentation. So everybody got their group members. Each of them have their own tables. These kids are going to mentor the kids to build a robot and program it. So kids, can you please go back to your stations? And then all the kids here, if they can go to their respective tables, and they're going to have 25 minutes to build the robot and program the robot. And then once that's done, they're going to do a co-balance exercise. After that's done, they have a sumo bot presentation, and we're going to come back here and into the conclusion. All right? Thank you.
Excuse me. A little bit this side. Yeah.
What is this? Do you guys want to help him? So do you guys have any more stuff? One either. Put up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With the 7 hole piece on the side. The third hole piece. Yeah, we do 7 though. Put the red, yellow, letters, sliders, 3 minutes. I thought you guys got 3. Okay, let's go. How are you gonna look? I'm not gonna okay, so they're not
Because it's a really good case study. I haven't bring it up yet.
No, can you go and stand? That's it.
And at the time, she had about $100 million IT budget. Significant. And Moffitt is a $1 billion organization. So roughly 10% is their IT budget. So I said, okay, how can I help? And they were doing an IT modernization project. Okay. I said, so tell me about it. Like, well, we kind of, literally, we have a general idea. I'm like, okay, stop. So what I started with was, I said, okay, what are 2 or 3 critical things that you want to accomplish? There's always like 2 or 3, nothing more than that. Because once you get beyond that, you have failed. Yeah, you failed to prioritize. I might have 10 things I want to do, but if I don't prioritize them, then I don't know what the dependencies are, right? I don't know what can be developed in parallel versus in sequence. But to their credit, they knew when I asked them that question, they knew exactly what they wanted. They said, we cannot have unplanned outage. It's okay, no 404 hours. Got it. What else? We cannot have a data loss. I said, okay. They said a curiosity why. And they told me something very interesting about Moffitt Cancer Center. A large percentage of what they do is diagnosing breast cancer and screening mammograms. And a lot of the lawsuits that come up later is from misdiagnosis, failing to recognize that it's breast cancer. And the patient then says, hey, you misdiagnosed me, they say. So they have to keep every file. And those, they're called PACS files, they're big. They're like 15 gigs each. Big files, a lot of space. They said, we cannot afford a database. I said, okay. So I completely understood those 2 things. And then they had some other things on there, but they said, listen, if I can't design these 2 things right, they got to shut the door, the other stuff doesn't matter. I said, okay, so from that I developed some requirements, right? I understood what they needed for disaster recovery, what they needed for federation, what they needed for replication, right? I figured out what topology would look like, right? A primary compute facility, an alternate compute facility, fail over, fail back, right? Rolling forward. It's all those were different features and functions that came from the I said, okay, with this, I said, I can give you 11 nines if you want 11 nines. It'll cost a lot of money. But if you want to start with 5 nines and then work our way up, so it's okay, 5 nines, here's how much it's going to cost. 10 nines, here's how much it's going to cost. So 5 nines is uptime. So it's 99, 999. Okay. So an easy way to remember that is in a year, if you multiply seconds times minutes, hours times days times a year, 5 nines is a downtime of 5 minutes and 25 seconds. That's an entire year. That's pretty good. So Amazon is has been advertising 11 times. So you need a big calculator for that. But they use that for evaluating transactions. So it's one failed transaction, 2 billion. So mostly it's things like check cash. I mean, if you think about it, back in America, I think they processed like 2 billion checks. Think about only one of those failed. I've never had it. It's never been me. Well, one of them is supposed to fail. So we use phrases like robustness, resilience, like some robustness is how big is your system to absorb failures. Resiliency is how well does the system absorb a failure and live on. So those requirements tell us for okay, what do you want to accomplish? If you're telling me that you absolutely cannot have one plant downtime, I'm like, okay, so now I have to really think, how many servers do we need? What type of rules do we need to have on the gateway router to make sure that no one ever gets a 404? That's like getting fired. Or the same thing on the server side. Well, how do we not get a 500 error? How do we prevent that? So that's what we go from that. But starting with those requirements, then the project becomes how do we design a system to. So that's what I teach the MBAs. So they're learning it, and the MBAs are learning it at the same time. But the difference is the MBAs are like in shock. Like they're hearing it for the first time at the age of 40. When you're hearing it the first time at the age of 14, it absorbs a lot easier. Like that gal, who were her parents? So I wanted to find her parents. She's a very elegant kid. How old is she? 11. Okay. So that's amazing. So my wife is 14. The ones that do this one, you so you've done something right, man. Was she born here in the U.S.? Ah, that explains it. So all she knows for 2 years. Now, does she speak to you? That's impressive, because I can't hear any accent. How's her Telugu? That doesn't sound like an American speaking Telugu. That's a trade-off. Does she speak any other languages?
She speaks only 2 at this point.
Okay.
Learning Spanish.
Spanish is okay. Yeah. But anyway, she's really good. And also very elegant in their speaking.
I mean, we've been working with that. So they have a very like a detailed scrutinizing on they have to present all this in minutes,
right?
They do have to. So that's part of the culture that we do work with them to present as many messages in 1 minute.
Yeah, there's no surplus. You get right to it. Very, very efficient.
Detail, I mean, point to point. I mean, every minute you present.
Now, what's your area?
I'm a senior market actually.
Okay. Okay, over at
okay,
so that's one way. Okay.
I do 3 days and then 2 days I work. Pretty much we kind of opportunity so we maintain the system of VA. We moving on to the cloud. Using the DevOps.
Yeah, well, I read, so I spent a lot of time in DC. And so I'm familiar with the mandate coming down to the secretary.
Moving on to the server.
Yes, well, Cerner, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Cerner.
It is.
I'm an Epic. I like Epic myself. I like Epic mainly because for using virtual desktop for VDI, Epic packaging itself, I think, much easier. So a lot of the doctors, they want to use Dragon for dictation. And using Cerner, with VDI, there was a lot of redirects. They didn't have timeouts. Although with Epic, it was working a lot better where everything was sitting inside that image, and it just worked a lot better. So that was a big complaint about our doctors about Cerner because Dragon wasn't working. So that's my bias. But Buffett has just gone to remote Cerner. So Cerner's hosting the whole brand. Yeah, but just recently.
5 more minutes for the hands-on. Then after please go run the seat. 5 more minutes. Thank you.
And then our disaster site was up in Atlanta, just one hop to Atlanta. Yep. Oh, hey man, the coach? Yeah. So it's Andrew. Yeah. That's right. That's what I said to her. Because I'm teaching this exact same framework to the MBA students, and it's like they're shaking in their chairs. I said, listen, you have to go out and find. I said, you work at a company. Go find the original problem that you would like to explore. You don't even have to solve it. Because on their level, what I'm teaching them, I'm teaching that team to be technical. But these are all vice presidents, so they need to be team leads. So I said, your job is not to solve the problem. Your job is actually to figure out how will you evaluate the solutions that are brought to you by the team members. So we call that request for proposal, right? Request for information. Right, so RFP is okay. So RFP is a completely different mindset, right, than actually solving a problem. Because the RFP, you want to make sure you're very clear on what you need solved. So when you put it out there, the people are building a solution that actually works. Right? So usability keys, right? When it fails the user's name, that's a big gap to try to match. So I was up at DC. I'm flying up on Tuesday. I'm having a class for Wednesday. But we had this, so I was on this panel, and there was a connection because I was meeting the CIO. There was the CIO for ICE, and then there was the CIO for USDA. USDA is like way up there. They're doing a lot of VA. But yes, so the CIO just said, I said my format. Okay, what are the missions you want to do? Our format is go to the cloud. I said that's resiliency, disaster recovery, evacuation. What is your requirement? He said, well, that's the problem we're dealing with. The secretary said, we're trying to move to the front. So from that, we spent a lot of time on service catalog
Sorry. Yeah.
Are you guys done? Showcase your robot.
Go back, and then go forward.
This can just be, just be recorded right off the phone. But then there's a second category that's also like cloud-based. And this is not so overwhelming. There's a question.
What they said was hard to do. What they're asking
This was, the 7 versions of SQL. With 4 versions of Windows, stuff running on Android. Right now, those are
Good? All right.
until.
Alright, parents can stand around. So this is something that these guys, no, hang on 1 second. This is something that the kids have done on their own. This is not nothing related to the actual first Lego League. This is where during the summer kids have this opportunity called sumo bar competitions going on. So these kids have developed their own sumo bars, and what they do is they'll compete. These two robots will try to push each other actually out of that arena, and whichever pushes it or doesn't push, you know.
Was there a TV show?
So this is called sumo bars.
This is friendly battle.
Yeah, so this is for the EV3 robots that we have, and these guys have developed something and they just want to showcase. So we're going to do 3 rounds. Each round is 1.5 minutes. So your time starts
now.
Now.
Yeah.
No. No. No.
Yeah.
No.
You see how it goes to the towards the border and comes back. It takes a black line.
So it says the other robot right now.
So it uses an ultrasonic sensor, and each one is trying. What did you guys name your robot?
So my name is Striker.
Okay, Striker versus what's yours, Sid?
The Rock.
The Rock. Okay, the Striker wins the first one. Okay. All right, let's go round 2. It's okay, guys. For fun, okay? Doesn't matter which one wins. Alright. That's a nice move. But Rock wants to be away.
The Rock lost.
Alright, yeah, I pick it up, guys. One more round. So there is, if you guys are interested, you can build your own robot. You don't have to join a competition for FOL. And there is, every summer there's sumo bar competitions going on. You can actually enroll in that and do it. There's a Facebook page for that. Yeah, we can share that. Neck to neck now. Yeah, if you rotate one more time like that, you'll pull it out. Oh! Great job, guys. Okay. By the way, I just have to say that Shiv actually built his robot in the last 2 days. Okay? So big round of applause for the Rock and the Striker as well. Okay. I think we'll now go back to your seats, please, and we'll conclude what we want to show you how the robotics is done on the table. We'll play a video that shows all the missions, how they're accomplished on this table. We don't have time to do it on the table itself, so we have a video which this team has done. They have solved like 11 missions, and they got a few times they got the high score award. So we'll show you those missions on the video so that everybody can watch that. All right. So let's go back to the scenes and then we'll watch that. Thank you.
Come on, guys. Go and sit. Come on. So go and sit at the place. I'll come.
All right. Did you guys have?
Okay, so for group 1, what we did was we have a sensor called the ultrasonic sensor, which can basically detect sound and distance. So we made the robot go forward until it senses an object within 50 centimeters, and 50 centimeters only, so if it's less or more, it won't work. And then once it senses it, it's going to turn and go the other way. So, and then we also have another motor called the A motor, which is a smaller motor, and it's not used to drive wheels. So we use it to power a hook that will lift in a basket. And this is basically what you would do in an actual tournament. As you can see in the actual board, there was a pipe that you had to lift using a hook. So we would use that motor to lift it using a hook. And it would go backward, put the object down. And while it was putting the object down, on the screen you could see it would say put down or pick up, if it was doing either one. So if it was picking it up, it would say pick up. If it was putting it down, it would say put down. So and the robot can also do sound. So in the program where it would be the ultrasonic sensor, it would basically, once it finished the task, it would say fantastic. So it can also do sound and it can also do math.
Alright. Wait, quickly. Who is quickly? Okay. Come on. Just tell what you guys do, okay?
For group 2, we programmed the light sensor to stop at a black line.
Group 3, please.
We tried, but we built a robot, but we didn't actually make the robot actually do anything. But we programmed it to go a certain distance, and then it would make a sound like a beeping sound. And then when something hits the touch sensor, it would take 6 rotations.
For group 4, we did some trial and error a lot, and we were able to program a touch sensor to go forward, and then when it made contact with something, it backed up and then turned 1 rotation.
See, what these guys have done in 25 minutes is not easy task to be done. So they have actually built. These guys have come up with the design before the class. I mean, few days before they practiced on what they want each group to build and program it. Within our criteria for them was it has to be done in 25 minutes. So they came up with that, and we wanted the kids to actually experience building and programming, and I think that's what we have done. So moving on, I know a lot of you have asked, that you guys are interested and your kids are interested. So we don't have a training center or anything. This is purely volunteering. I have my son on the team. That's how we started as a team in our community. And these are my friends' kids. That's how we formed a group. And then we learned, I as a coach learned, and the difference between a typical First Lego League team versus any other competition, in my view, is here kids do everything. Meaning everything. I haven't touched their laptop for programming, not even once. That robot was built entirely by them. It's their ideas. What as a coach I do and other coaches do is question them. Have them think what is the right way to do it, but everything is done by them. They make a decision. Which mission to run, what's the strategy, it's them to do. As a team, they work and they have disagreements, but they have a way to get over that. They have different ways to find out what's the best thing to do. But everything is developed, coded, and built by them. And including the boards that you see outside, it's completely done by them. So whatever the kids have learned, that's what is showcasing right there, is everything the kids have done. Coaches are actually learning from the kids. So it's not like a classroom where I teach them. No, it's the other way around. It's not a typical classroom. We question them and we get them to think and get the ideas out. So you'll be surprised how many times I wondered why I couldn't think like them, because they think out of the box. We have to build an attachment. The attachment, we think one way, but the kids, they think totally differently. And I mean, I can give you an example. They have innovative ways of doing this, and they came up with this wedge attachment that will push the lever for the water to flow on that. I've been to all these tournaments. I have not seen anybody do that kind. So that's why if you look at this robot, it's not going to be similar to any of the robot out there, and they don't look at any of those videos or anything, because it's going to stop their thinking, and they will only think in that way because they saw something. So they learn based on their originality. It's fully original. The robot is original, and their ideas are original. With that, I just want to say, I just want to talk to you guys about the tournament day. So all of this, the 3 parts as you saw, they will do it. But then there's a tournament. There's a pre-qualifier, qualifiers, regionals, and then you have state, and then you have world championship. So the tournament day, typically on a Saturday, they have to go through all these. They have to do the robot. They have to go into a room full of people, judges, and they have to explain what the robot, what was their thought process behind coming up with that robot? Why did they have that sensor? If they use more parts than what is needed, they think that it's not a good design, because Why do you need more parts, right? And also minimalism in that aspect, and also programming. What are the techniques they have used? How efficient is it? And also reusability of the attachments. They look at so many of those things. So these guys go and present while running the robot. They present it to the judges and talk to them about their thought process behind the design. And then they actually, every time they do programming, they have an engineering notebook where they actually jot down on what they had done. They do pseudocode. They don't actually write programming. Most of you might be from IT. You know how it goes. We never do pseudocode. But at least these guys, the way they do it is they pseudocode first, and then they write that into actual program, put it into program. And they have multiple versions. They improvise every time, and they as a team make a decision what can be done, what cannot be done given the timeline. So they go there and present that for 5 minutes, and then the robot game that they do is 2.5 minutes. In 2.5 minutes, how many missions they can solve is the number of points they get. They don't get more than 2.5 minutes. The clock sticks, and they have to strategize which mission to run first, which one to run next, and only 2 kids at the table need to run, not the entire team. They can swap kids out but only 2 kids have to run at a time. And that's the robot game. That's the second part that goes on the tournament day. And then there is core values presentation. They go and tell what they have done. First is very big about doing outreaches. So these guys have done at least 17 outreaches. They went to DTCC, they went to schools, and they went to Mosey. We did one at Glazier's Children's Museum. They have done a lot in this region to advance STEM and get kids excited about the robotics. So they will look at all that, and they do a 5-minute exercise, just like the kids here. They did a 5-minute exercise. Some of them had to take the clips out, right? And some of them had to see a component here, a design, and tell the other side where they cannot change. They build it. So they went through a lot of core values exercises where they have to do that in 5 minutes. So that's the core values part, and then the project. So they have to tell, for project, it takes a lot of time. They have to do all the research, and they have to prove that the research, their idea is original and it is not existing. They have to improvise an existing solution, but they can't take an existing solution. And they have to talk to experts. They do a 5-minute skit, and once we went to the World Championships last year, their thought process about how to do the skit completely changed. They became more interactive and made it funny a little bit, so that it's not just boring skit, to just showcase. So they made it more interactive and funny. And that's the project part. So once they go through all this, if any team that's selected, does good, they do callbacks. Meaning second time the other group of judges want to see. So they vet them through the callbacks, and they finally, call out the winner, who is got the champion. So that's how these guys have won the state championships. So they did all around, all the things, and went through the callbacks, and then good at the robot game, and they were able to be placed first in the state. So I just want to give you guys an idea on how the tournament team works. And this is the actual impact. I got it from the first website. The numbers speak for themselves. As you can see, problem solving, they have seen that 97% have exhibited, gains in problem solving. And look at all those categories. Kids who have done first Lego League, they have done a study on them and seen before they start versus how they have advanced. These are all the categories that they have developed their skills in. So this program has a huge impact on the kids in different ways. Problem solving, robot design, speaking, presentation skills, you name it, they have it. Right, before I go there, I just want to play a video. We didn't get a chance to actually run the table with all the missions. I will play one video which these guys have run to showcase how the robot actually does all the missions on a table. This is the robot, the water, it pushed the water. That's the lever I was talking about, it pushed me down. So they have to push that pump and then put the rain out, the water out. So they combine those two missions. So that's their strategy. So they're putting the tripod in that region and they're picking up the broken pipe from there, and now they have to install the new pipe. And they've combined those two as well. And then it goes back to base. Everything they can only start in base. They cannot touch anything outside of base. That little curve you saw, that's the base. So they drop the water in the fountain. So this is one of the difficult missions they had, where they had to go and then they're lining up with that wall follower, and then they go and turn the faucet. And then they go around and put the slingshot in the area. And then they picked it up because their planned penalty, that's their strategy. It's only 5 points, you lose. So this is the last mission where they do the flower and well together. So they carry all the water all the way. That's the bottle, you see, that's the water. And they go to the flower. They have to raise the flower. And then they have to put that in that area. So this entire thing was done in 2.5 minutes, and these are the missions that these guys have done. There are teams that do only 1 or 2 missions. There are teams that do more than this. Like a world championship, I know the teams, they solved everything. Okay, so it all depends. But how much the kids can do, what they're interested, and it all depends. And it's their ideas. Our philosophy is their ideas. No parents or coaches going and doing any of it. Right now, Siv is going to talk about the next year. So the season ends in May, depending on when it ends. It ends in May, and it starts again in August. So there's a season coming now, which we're going to talk about. And if you guys are interested in enrolling, we can guide you, and we can guide you form teams as well. And I can mentor, but I cannot be a coach because there's only limited number of things that I can do as a coach. But being a coach is not difficult at all, I'll tell you. Most of you are from IT. You don't need to know any technical skills. As a matter of fact, if you didn't know anything, it's better because then you let the kids do everything. So I'll encourage, if you guys want to form teams, after this we can connect and we can see how that goes. Now we'll go on to talk about next year's theme.
So next year is Into Orbit, so it's all about space. So it's Into Orbit, so it's all about space, stars, asteroids. So we are going to play the 2018-2019 teaser.
So that's the next year's theme. It's about Into Orbit. I've seen a lot of people interested in that. So with that, I want to conclude. Before I conclude, I just wanted to let you guys know it's not just about robotics. I've been with this team for 2 years now, and I've seen many people getting inspired and joining robotics. I want to leave you with 2 examples I want to talk about. One is Couple of kids from the team, they did Great America teaching. Normally, you would go as a parent and teach what you do at school. So they went to Pride Elementary, they taught their kids, and there were letters actually the kids wrote, and it's amazing to see what they have written and how they were inspired to join a robotics team. The other thing is these guys got a chance to go and represent this region at Defense Manufacturing Conference that happened in Tampa, where Dean came and the founder and Don Bossy and all of them were here. So they were asked to represent the team, and there they showcased all the same thing, robotics and everything, and there were many people, all adults especially, right? There's no kids that's coming to that. So inspired, and this gentleman comes to me and asks, can I take a picture with the girls on the team? I want to show this picture to my girls at home, and I want them to start a team. So it's really inspiring to see how, person from our armed forces come to me and, say, they want, and they have seen these kids perform there. And also wanted to share with you guys that next day, the DMC, the Defense Manufacturing Conference, they tweeted saying, these are the coolest kids around, and they were hashtagging them, saying this, and there is Dean Keeman right here, and he spent at least 15 minutes with the team on what they thought and getting their ideas, and he was very impressed. So that was a wonderful opportunity that they had gotten, and with that, I will leave it to Shyam and
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, Manoj. So Manoj will take questions for anyone. So do you have any questions? Anyone, any kids or parents have any questions?
Manoj, can you explain, how do a layman, how do they start this program? What do they need to buy, or how do they start? What if they don't have anything in their home? How do they start?
So the first thing you would want to do is register a team. Okay, I think we have one slide for that. Let me see if I can find it. Register a team with firstinspires.org. I'll share that link with you guys. Register a team. Before registering, you can buy the EV3 kit. There's two kits. One is home edition, the other one is educational edition. Educational edition, you get a 20% off if you register a team and then you buy the kit. You would want to buy educational kit because that's what you want to use for the competition. If you want only for the kids to learn by something at home, you can buy it at Amazon or somewhere. It's called the home edition. This is called EV3 Mindstorms. Okay, you buy the kit, form a team up to 10 kids, but I would say don't go with 10 kids. That's a lot for anybody to, go with smaller number, 5, 6, maybe 7. And you need 2 adult coaches. The coaches are only to, make sure that they are following rules and they have. So August 1st, they release this challenge guide. And in the challenge guide, they'll tell you what the challenge is. So this year it's about space. So I can guess something, they already started talking about, there are teams that already started researching. They said, okay, how would, what are the kind of foods that, astronauts eat in the space station? I don't know if we think about how do they take care of their, teeth. You will be amazed the kind of problems that the kids and solutions they come up with. So they already started thinking. So they would do the project on that. Once the mission is released, exactly what they want you to do. Last year was find a challenge on how, water and between human and water cycle, what are the problems associated with that. So they came up with that problem. And next year it's about space, and I can only guess, but they might come up with something related to what are the things that they would do in space. So with that, you will have the project, and core values is just exercise that they would do. There are core values they can print out, and there is a coach handbook they'll give, which will tell you all the things you can do. And there is also a Schoology website that they give you where they'll train the coaches. You don't need to do a lot, but that's what you would need to start it. And you just need interested kids, I've seen teams with only 2 kids. It all depends, up to 10 kids, but it can be as low as you want.
Next question.
Hi, great job by all the kids here, and thanks for organizing this. My question is, I actually already bought the kit. I don't know whether it's I don't believe it's the education version. But in terms of getting ideas on what kind of projects can they take, do you have any sites where they can get some inspiration? Because you mentioned that going to YouTube and watching videos may influence them to do similar kind of projects and not think outside the box.
So that's for FLL competition as such, because a lot of teams, what they do, they'll solve those missions and they'll put their videos on the internet. And I don't want the kids to look at it because it's going to hinder their thought process. But with this Mindstorms, I have seen people actually cook. One guy built this for his mom, where the robot actually goes and it goes like this, and it cuts the egg and it splits it and it actually cooks. And I've seen somebody build a dog, somebody build all kinds of things. So there is something called, you should subscribe to First Lego League, okay, and EV3 Mindstorms on Facebook, and there you will be amazed how much these, what kind of things that they can do with the robot. As far as the kit you have, home or educational, it's okay. You can buy those additional sensors or parts that are missing in your kit, and we bought more parts as we needed. So that should be totally okay.
Hey, thank you very much for this, by the way. This has been an amazing way to spend a Sunday morning. So my question is, for the competitions, how much time are you given from the competition itself to know exactly what your tasks are going to be? Because I saw in the video, it looked like there was some very specific things that are around the board, right? How much time are you given to sort of prepare for that?
So they already released the mat for next year, how the mat looks. They haven't released the models and whatnot. So if you register a team now, they'll ship those models you see on the board. They'll ship, and kids build those models, and we need to attach, okay, onto the table. So they do that end of July, okay, and then you have build until the actual tournament doesn't start until November, December. So you have at least 4 months to actually legroom to build, do the missions and everything that they have done. That's the final output, by the way. They had fewer missions to start with. So there was a Roboticon which they attended, which is not a competition. That's just to showcase what they had done. That was in October. By that time, they had only few missions. But by the competition time in December, they had almost all the missions. And then December is when the pre-qualifiers happen. Actual qualifiers are in January. That's when, if you qualify, you go to the regional. The regionals is in February. And then once they do good in February, state is in April, and then the world is also end of April, May first week. So they'll have enough time to experiment and do all that stuff. And the first year, I don't expect them to do a lot. It's more about them going and figuring out stuff and getting sense of what the competition and all of that is. But some kids really love it and they want to spend more time. Yeah, sure. They'll really do good. It's all about how much time the kids want to spend and the parents want to spend.
Yes.
Hi, this is Sahas. I work on robotics only from the IT side.
Okay.
But I saw this. It's really exciting. But moreover, I saw that people are assembling. Is it moreover into assembling, and are we giving any instructions? If we are giving instructions to the bot, right, on which software we are using,
yes.
Or is it like completely assembling? We are buying the sensors or motors kind of thing.
So it's partly all the programming. The brick that he has shown earlier, that's the brains. So there are programs. They have a software called EV3 software, which they use, where they put together the program. The kids, all of them have seen that today. So they then push that program onto the robot. And the robot then does, it will tell them, okay, robot move, 2 rotations, take a right turn or take a left turn. And those instructions is what they program, and the robot does it accordingly. Everything that they're building on the actual robot is they have built based on what they thought is important. It has to maneuver on that board through smaller spaces. So they said, okay, my robot cannot be this big. It cannot be this high. They have a height requirement. Robot cannot be this big. So they come with those rules. These guys will say, okay, within those rules, what do we need to do to accomplish these missions? What is the size of my robot? Sensor as such, they buy the sensor. They don't build the sensor, but when to use the sensor, if to use it or not, whether it is an active attachment, all those decision making is done during the design process. Alright, thank you.
Quick question.
That's the last question.
What if you share your robot to like the source? Like, can you share like a robot idea to someone?
I didn't get your question. Come again?
Like, if you like in your robot, what if you share it with like another source? Like, would that change anything?
Source as in the program?
Yeah, like another team.
No, because what's there on your robot stays on your robot. It's not connected to anything else. By the way, this is Ishan is part of the Robo Ninjas team, and Sashri, they're our second team, and Pranav right there. They were helping, IncrediBotz help, do this program. Okay, I'm going to give it to Shyamgar now.
Thanks everyone. Okay, the last question for the kids. Who want to go to December 2025 to the space? Thank you, Manoj. Let's have a big hand to Manoj and their team. Okay, thank you guys. We want this time we have to felicitate the kids, and we want Dr. Hemant to come over here, and then let's go with the kids for memo test. First, let's go to Tiksha Sakamuri.
Congratulations. Look exactly like
Tiksha Sakamuri. Sai, can you both coaches stand at the other side? Okay, Samar Kasivatlam. Wait. Thank you both of you. And then Sev. Okay, Sev Sakamuri. Ninxiao Unjal. Anish Nelluri. Sad Sakamuri. Okay, now let's give mementos to the coaches. Manoj Kasivatlam. Sai Bhavani Sakamuri. Okay, we want to felicitate next year Robo Ninjas. That's the name, right? Yeah, Robo Ninjas team. First got Ishan Sakamuri. Pranav Chelikani.
Where's the other ninja? All right, well done, ninja.
Shashrik Kasivatlam.
They're very quiet. There we go.
Nishant Sevan. He's not here right now.
He's a real ninja.
Thank you guys. Thank you everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted Dr. Hyman to give us a few words.
So, the one thing, I have voice projection. So I guess the most important thing I would want to communicate are the observations that I made with everyone else, particularly Prashant. I was saying to him, this is what we teach in the MBA level. We teach to identify and then specify a problem, develop it with a question such as how do we design or how do we build a system to, and you wrap it back to solve the actual problem. So it results in requirements documentation and actually spending a lot of time in design and something that's towards actually resolving something or exploring something. So what they're learning is what we teach MBAs who are 40 years old. And the MBAs are not quite getting it. It's really hard. And it's something we've lost in our American society. So it's nice to see that we're actually putting it in place now as a foundation to build on, so that when they get to me, I won't have to be teaching this all over again. So congratulations to you. The twin.
We would like to express our sincere gratitude to NATS to let us have this opportunity to hold this workshop. We'd also like to thank the audience for coming and sacrificing their time to come to this workshop. We hope you learned something.
And of course, we wouldn't be here without our incredible coaches and parents. We also give a heartfelt thanks to our parents for believing that we can do our best.
We'd also like to thank our Rising Star Robo Ninjas team as they help volunteer to help us.
And lastly, we would like to thank our sponsors for giving us the amazing opportunity to get to the Arkansas and to States. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks for spending the time. So if you guys have any questions or if you want to form a team, like I said, don't hesitate, reach out to me. We'll find a way, to connect, people that are interested in this area. There is teams from Valrico, there's teams from Westchester. The regional director, Ms. Desh, she has contacts with all of them. So if you're from this area or somewhere, I can mentor the kids or I can coach the actual parents on how they can form a team, etc. So the season starts, like I said, August 1st. You can register the team right now. These Robo Ninjas, they already registered their team for next year. So if you want to form a team or if you have any questions on the robot design or any of these parts, please you can contact me. And if you want to interested in forming a team, sure, let me know as well. Okay, thanks everyone.
Yeah, lastly, few seconds, please. We are thankful to Dr. Hyman who came here and blessed the children and gave the good advice to them. We wanted to give him a memento to him and all. Dr. Hyman. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Please take a seat, please. Thank you. Yeah, we'll invite Srinivas Garu to give a vote of thanks for a few minutes.
Mr. Harvey Heyman, Robotics coaches, Manoj Kashibatla.
Please, everyone, silence, please, for a few minutes.
Coaches Manoj Kashibatla, Sai Sakamori, and the winners of Robotics competition team and all participants. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks for this occasion. On behalf of NATS Tampa chapter and the volunteers, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Mr. Harvey coaches and the robotics team and all the participants with their presence and took out a valuable time of your busy schedule. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Mr. Manoj and Mrs. Sai for their work. Also, I would like to extend a special thanks to Mr. Harvey Heyman for making it a special event. I heartily congratulate to all the participants and their parents for their active participation in this event. As no program can become successful with a single person, so I extend my big thanks to all the NATS Tampa Bay chapter volunteers. Thank you guys for making this event successful. With your contribution and help, please continue to do the same for future events. And we have another event on June 23rd for yoga. Please come and join and sign up online. Have a very great rest of the day. Thank you all.
Yeah, final few words by Srinivasa Mallani, our Tampa coordinator.
Thanks a lot, and we got a lot of response. We have almost like 100 registration happened. Only 40-50 people showed up. Itself is so crowded, okay? And we want to do similar event maybe in future, maybe 1 month down the line or 2 months down the line. We want to do, now we did a new Tampa. We want to do either Brandon or West Chase or St. Pete's with the help of Manoj and team, okay? If you guys are interested, we would like to send again an email. Yeah, and we have an upcoming event yoga on 3rd. That is because of the International Yoga Day. We are working with the Isha organization. Isha organization coming and teaching what is the basic yoga and what is going to be helpful for you when you do the yoga. That is going to be in West Church library, similar way in West Church. Isha Upayoga. If you have any questions, please reach us and we can answer you.
Thank you all. Thanks for coming over here. For the kids, we have got some more, a few snacks outside. You can have these snacks. And thank you so much. Thank you all.